What up, everybody? It's your girl, Melissa. Woo woo, y'all. It is Friday afternoon. Come on, somebody. Let me tell you, Colorado, I know y'all gentlemen are not from Colorado, but you've probably been to Colorado and know how bipolar it is. And it's like been all crazy snowy, and then today it's just warmed up, all ready for summer again, and it's probably going to snow next week, but we're getting into those summer vibes, feeling it. And what great vibes to come into the weekend with than my special guest, DW3, y'all. So I'm going to hand over the spotlight to you guys and just introduce yourself. There's a lot of people in here that may have never heard of you, that are new. You know, this is a KUHS runs tons of shows, runs your music, runs it, but new shows that come on. Such as myself, where Ignite, there's a lot of new audience and a lot of new listeners and a lot of new viewers who might have not heard you before. And I would love to introduce you guys and just have you, since you guys know yourself better than I do, hand over the spotlight, introduce yourselves, and just let our guests know who you are.
All right. My name is Daniel Rio, and I'm one of the lead singers of DW3.
And I'm Eric Mondragon. I am the other lead singer, keyboard player. One of the Mondragon brothers.
The Mondragon brothers. And then we have iPhone Billy with us.
How you doing?
Your camera isn't on, so whenever you'd like to turn it on, just so you know. So where are you guys from? Where are you originally from? How did you meet? How did this whole band start?
Well, we're pretty much LA, East LA, pretty much. Damon's pretty much from the south side of LA, but my brother and I started this band maybe 20 plus years ago, and just our parents are both musicians. My dad was the original member of Sly, Slick, and Wicked, and we kind of grew up with Rudy Salas and Steve Salas with Tierra. Our high school years, putting bands together with David Salas, going to high school with him. That's how it started. We had a band called Primo, actually, which was featured on Tierra's albums right out of high school. Shortly after that, Billy kind of joined my brother joined up with Tierra. But we kept the band going throughout the years and changed the name to Down with Three. After a while, we kind of met up with the Avila brothers, Ross and Izzy Avila. And they wanted to put the name together with the whole recording project. And we had 4 members, which was David Salas. David Salas left the group, and then we were down to 3. So we made the band Down with 3 because there's 3 of us left. And, but then shortly after that, we were playing around the circuit, and Damon joined the group. After a while, we were playing around and stuff, and we replaced our last singer. But this is the nucleus now. My brother and I and Damon for the past like 20 years, about something like that. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
20. No, I'm saying he just turned 20 actually in January, so.
Oh, 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And I love that because, we see so many bands and so many groups that, like, get together and fall apart, right? And so it is awesome to see when groups stay together this long, because it just really shows that you guys vibe with each other and you guys are moving forward with each other, growing with each other, and just doing what you love. And so it's awesome to see, and congratulations on 20 years. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And so, you mentioned about Tierra, or is it Tierra? How do I pronounce it?
It's Tierra, but
depending on where I'm from, which way should I pronounce it?
Right.
I've been practicing rolling my R's just for this, okay? Tierra. But speaking of Tierra, condolences, because I know you guys started off with Rudy and Steve, and they had just more recently passed away. And so tell us a little bit about your guys' journey with Tierra.
You want to take that one, Bill? Well, Bill's
I'm on, but my camera's not working. I don't know why.
At the bottom,
You gotta hit the button on the bottom, bro. It says like turn on camera.
Okay.
I mean, we all have different situations. When we met the Salas brothers, I met Rudy through his son Dave Salas, who's also an amazing producer. I was recording in the studio, and that's how the guys actually met me. I was like 15 years old, and I went in there, and they heard me, and they had to wait till I turned at least 20 because they wouldn't let me play at the bars.
Yeah, Dave was a bit younger than we were, but yeah.
Yeah, and you know,
still had braces. You still had
that's why I was still going through it at that point. You know, so it was a blessing. I met a Rudy. He let me rent out a space to have a little studio just to, you know, do my own music there. And you know, he had a whole facility, which was amazing at that time because nobody really had anything. And they had a recording studio there. They had different rooms with recording artists, and from there is where I met the fellas. And you know, I met Billy. He came up to me and goes, "Where do you work?" And I'm like, "I work at the ESPN Zone." He's like, he asked me how much I made. He goes, "You can make what you need in a week and a day." And I was like, "I quit."
You're like, I'm sold.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I was 20 years old. So when that happened, it was just a blessing. And you know, Billy was with Tierra for over 25 years, Bill.
Yeah, 25 years. I'm sorry, my camera's not working. I pushed that little button that's not going on.
Oh, that's
I don't know why. But yeah, when I picked up Damon, yeah, he was at the studio. He was like, "I'll do it. I got it. I'm in." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as my experience with Rudy, I mean, Rudy picked me up in high school. Actually, I did my first recording with him just out of high school, and we did a song called "What Did I Get Myself Into Now." And then from there, one of the singers quit. He said, "Hey, you want the job?" I didn't rehearse with him, got the job, still with him for over 25 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Mike Jimenez, right?
Yeah, Mike had quit. Yeah, Mike had quit the band. And, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And then from that point on, I was in the group and recorded over 14 albums with him.
That's amazing. And so, you know, I know you guys paid tribute to them earlier on, I seen on your page, and just all around, because all the love of everybody who knows them. So we just here at KUHS want to give our condolences to not only you guys, because you guys were part of their family. I know when it's like music world, media world, even in our professions, they become family. It's not just someone that you worked with, you know, like, when you work with someone for so long, like, how could they not be family? You know, so condolences to them and to the actual families, you know, here at KUHS. We just want to say our condolences and that we are here if you guys ever need anything. And, you know, they made a huge impact on everybody. And so we just want to tell you guys that. And so, you know, to lighten up the mood, so you guys just got off your jazz cruise. So tell us about that, because that's super exciting. I mean, I'm a lover of jazz music, and so being on a jazz cruise, I can only imagine what it felt like on there. So I'm going to let you take on that.
Yeah. Well, we actually didn't do the jazz cruise this year. It got canceled. But we came out, we do a couple of the theme cruises as well. So they were the Star Trek cruise, actually, and the 80s cruise. The 80s cruise was real fun. But it's run by the same company, but we've been doing the jazz cruises for years. But,
since 04, right?
Say again?
Since 04, it's been.
Yeah, since 04 we've been doing them. But the jazz cruises are amazing. We're up there with the greats like George Duke and Bobby Caldwell and Marcus Miller, Boney James,
Shaka Khan,
Earth, Wind,
Fire,
Tower Power, you know, all these great artists, they do the cruises.
The list is endless. There's so many artists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, you know, how are those experiences? Because, you know, I've never been on a cruise, so I have to ask, how does it feel as artists to be on a cruise with so many other different artists? Like, there's probably artists on there that you guys admire that you maybe have or have not worked with. How does that atmosphere when you're on a cruise with a bunch of different artists, how does it blend and how are you guys in the mix with that?
It's a great sporting at sea. That's what I got to say.
Exactly. Yeah, we became very close with a lot of the artists, Jeffrey Osborne, Jonathan Butler. A lot of these artists, they're influential individuals in the music world. And, of course, when we first met them, we were like, oh my God, And as time went on, the mutual respect for the music and the abilities were just, it's all love. And, we call Jeffrey Uncle Jeffrey, and he showed us a lot of love. All the artists, it's an amazing journey that we've been on with that.
And then we also started collaborations as well. Mm-hmm. Our very first hit was with Gerald Albright. It's called "I Got You," and
from Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, he's lives in Denver now.
And we just played I Got You on the air. So for all of those who are still joining live, you just heard that song previous before our guest joined on. So you've been hearing DW3 all day today. So that one actually just came on right before you guys came on.
Awesome. That was Gerald Albright.
We also did a single with Dave KUHS.
Donnie James.
And all these relationships that we've done through the cruises, it's like a family. Like you said, it's just really, really tight, and we cruise with each other every year. And it's just a great experience. Their children, their wives, their managers, and it just becomes one big family, and we all start collaborating with each other. Brian Culbertson, we did a song with him. He's an amazing pianist, and we were lucky to have him. Bonnie James, we just did a single with him on our last album. But all these great artists, they've been around. Richard Elliott, and great guys, great people, and it's amazing talents, and we'd love to collaborate.
Yeah, so speaking of collaborations, you guys just put out your new album recently, and this was a project with just you guys, all your efforts. So tell us a little bit about your new album, because that has to be exciting. That's something that's like your baby that you guys are working on, that's just a you thing, and just all the heart and soul, I can only imagine, that goes into it, because I know, me not as an artist, but just as a person who does my own stuff, like putting your heart and soul into something and being able to release that out is just so much joy. So, congratulations on that album that you guys have done collectively with you. So tell us a little bit about it and how it all began. How did you get it started? And, what have you seen come out of it?
Well, we started building our own studio. And we've always had studios in our own homes, but it took about a year and a half, but we really got a nice studio together in a facility, and that's when we started working on the last album. But it's a lot of work and a lot of collaboration. Yeah, with artists and other mixing engineers and musicians. It's fun, and the process is super fun. But it's also serious work and serious business. So we were excited to do it. We were writing with each other, pulling in other writers, and scouting out songs for whoever's got a tune for us. It's all great. But it started. We started doing in the studio, and what was that?
2016. 2016 when we started building the studio, and then by 2017 is when we actually started on the album, and we got it done 2018. And we started packaging it and putting everything together before 2019.
Nice.
And then, of course, when we released it, it was the pandemic had just started.
It was like, hello.
So take a few steps back, DW3.
We didn't want to be down with you just yet, right? It was like, hold on, we're going to let the pandemic hit first.
It was a nice little surprise, but the album came out. It was a very well-made album. We were able to get our collective minds together versus sometimes having other people do the music and do pretty much, a lot of the other processes. We did it ourselves. We recorded, wrote, mixed, edited, mastered, and it was very satisfying. So that's why we self-titled it. We always had a different name for the albums, and we just felt like this was just DW3. And it felt good. It felt really good.
So what is, I have to ask, your favorite song off the whole album?
Mine is Let's Have Fun Tonight. That's,
yeah, I'm feeling it straight from the heart.
Yeah.
Babes. And
I know when it's your baby. When it's your babies, you love them all. So it's really hard to pick one.
Yeah.
But do you have kids?
Yeah.
Okay, we all know, come on, even as a parent myself, we all know we still have that one favorite. I'm just kidding. We'll never admit it, but we have that one favorite, right? And so how did you guys get into music? Because we're on a radio station, right? People love music. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, a lot of artists out there. And I think sometimes a lot of people are looking for that quick fix, right? And granted, there are sometimes people that have overnight success. Very rare. There might be some, but a lot of times it takes process, and I don't think people understand like the process and years that get put into this. So what would you guys say as artists to other artists or upcoming entrepreneurs, like where you started in your journey and how it started from there to where you are now?
I think the one thing I would say to young up-and-coming people is that the music business is exactly that, a business. And you need to treat it like it. When most people get into the music business and think, okay, this is going to be fun, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll and all that stuff. But no, if you really want to be successful, you got to treat it like a business. There's really no way of getting around it. You have to work hard, you know, and know everything about business. It really is. If you don't know the business, the music is like 10% of it. The business is 90%.
Yeah. We don't get paid to play. We get paid to travel and get the music out to get paid to do it on stage. It's one of those things where when people ask, like, what do you tell an artist up and coming and, you know, for them to be successful? And I heard a quote once that was like, do you know why it always rained when the Indians did their dance? And I said, why? Because they didn't stop dancing until it rained.
So good.
I was like, boom.
I know, dropping gems on here. I'm like, hold on, repeat. Let me write this down really quick.
You just gotta keep doing it, and we've been doing it so long that, you know, we just keep the train moving, and we're blessed that a lot of artists gravitate with us, and we meet great individuals, producers, writers, you name it, and it's incredible. It's a great
business. You have to be careful as well. Like Billy was saying, it's a business, and you really got to be careful on your royalties and know how to do that. You know, the good thing about now, the day and age, is that you can do it yourself. You can just get on there and then look at the sites, and then it's very tedious work though. You really got to get in there and figure out, you know, download your albums and upload your albums to TuneCore or whatever you have, and it takes time. And you know, make sure you get their royalties and you get their record sales, and you're up to date with that. You know, there's a little company out there. It's called Sound Exchange. Sound Exchange is fairly new, and you know, it took a while for us to learn how to get our royalties and you know, and figure out which ones are ours. Even the songs that you remake, you still get royalties. You still get the money back from that too. So it's just all that business, you know. And David Salas actually is really good with that, and he does that, you know, sort of for a living now, helping out other artists, and he charges them a fee, and he kind of helped us, you know, set up all of our royalties and everything through Sound Exchange, and you know, EMI, and ask whoever writer you're from, but all that is the music business, and you should really get into it and know it, or else, you know, you're your best person to handle that for you, because you can't really trust anybody, but you know, that's a big part of the business, other than making the music, which is the fun part. You know, you still got the business work coming up, so get to work.
That's right, get to work, okay, y'all. It is work. It is not instant gratification, easy button. Here we go, and we're right here.
Don't get us wrong. We have fun. We get to travel the world, see amazing places, and just meet amazing people. you know, but I mean, I always tell, my friends will be like, oh my God, you're so lucky, you do what you do, and, you know, it's not hard work, and I'm like, if it wasn't hard work, everybody could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because even, you know, being in a similar industry, it is hard, and people only see, like you said, the perks of it. They only see of like what you guys, the outside of it, but they don't see like the long, you know, you get 2 hours of sleep and working 24 hours to do stuff, and it is a process, you know, and it's hard work. You got to put in the work no matter where you're at. So artists, whoever you are, you always got to put in the work for something that you really want. It doesn't just come.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
you got to put the band together to rehearse the band, you know, and keep them, your band on their toes, you know. There's so much that goes into it, you know, but it's all fun in the process, you know. If you do what you love to do, if you do what you love to do, it's never going to be work, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of process, you know, have you put a choir together at one point in your life? You know, that's a process.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. You know, it takes work, yeah, it takes work.
So we're gonna hear your Easter choir coming up, right? Easter service, we got you guys. Sunday service. Let me tell you, I'm just there on the days I'm told to be there. Make sure you show up, right? And so you all have an amazing sound and different unique sounds. And so I'm curious to know who has inspired you. I'm sure there's people who have inspired you collectively as a whole. But also, I feel like there's people who have inspired you individually, who has made you the unique artist that you guys are, with your own sound and making it your own and your own way. And who are those people, if I may ask?
Well, I'm a huge fan of Stevie Wonder. I mean, as far as songwriting and singing, performing, and playing, since I'm a piano player and singer, he's my top inspiration. Donny Hathaway and Earth, Wind & Fire, as far as a band, you know, because we are a band, live musicians, you know, so I think Earth, Wind & Fire and Stevie Wonder taught us a lot, as far as, you know, other than my parents, you know, our parents taught us a lot too. They're musicians as well, and, you know, taking our cues from them, and Rudy Salas and Stevie Salas, you know, they were like our uncles, you know, so we have a lot of inspiration that came from the East LA circuit. Little Ray Jimenez, you know, he was a big influence to us in the East LA circuit. But as far as the big artists, you know, Prince, Stevie Wonder, you know, Luther Vandross, Earth, Wind & Fire, you know, as far as me.
Yeah, I'm a huge Frank Sinatra fan, since I was able to know that I could sing, and that kind of prepared me for everything else, the R&B, D'Angelo, you know, Music Soul Child. So I'm more on the R&B tip, Dr. Dre. You know, I grew up in South Central, so that was the mecca of, you know, gangster rap. I was there when the riots happened and all, you know. So I grew up with that whole hip hop influence as well as the neo soul. But Frank Sinatra to me was like he was a crooner, man. He was just like the best.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that was mine. What about you, Bill?
Mine was, you know, a lot of the ones that Eric said, Earth, Wind & Fire. I grew up with a lot of 70s soul music from the Delphonics to the Dells to, you know, Stylistics. I've always been more of a crooner, so I really like the R&B stuff, the smooth stuff. Also, you know, I mean, I did listen to a lot of rock too. I'm, you know, huge Journey fan, so Steve Perry was a huge influence on my rock and roll side. I really like that kind of stuff. You know, I was into Van Halen and stuff like that, so I did get a little bit of taste of the rock growing up. Yeah.
Somebody has to, right? There's always one rock person in the group. Even in the friend groups, there's always the one. So you, Billy, are the one. And so, you guys grew up in California? You're all from California?
Yeah.
Okay, and so tell us a little bit about that. Because I know growing up you're in California, I'm all over the place. Growing up in California, I know you had to be exposed to a lot in California, especially with Hollywood, everything. And so how did that impact your guys' lives? Because that's kind of like the all place of all place to make it big. Besides New York, right? LA, California, and New York are the two top that everybody goes to, one side or the other.
I feel that we had a head start being in LA, because we, and being our parents were musicians as well, we did have a head start, and knowing, my dad had us auditions, for commercials when we were kids, and it was just right there, it's 20 minutes away from where we grew up, Hollywood, and you can get there like that, whatever opportunity, there is a lot of opportunities out here. Whenever opportunities came up, and my dad was all over it, for us, and so we've been doing it our whole lives, actually. But I do feel fortunate that we were born and raised here.
I mean, a story that we have, we used to get in backstage, before I was in the group theater, we were kind of roadieing for theater, like we would sneak in with Ron Guerrero was the sound guy. So we'd sneak backstage, and we were hanging out with people like the Jets, Brenda K. Starr, all the artists. When we were like 15, 16 years old, we were hanging out backstage with all these artists, Sheila E. So, fast forward 3 years later, I'm the lead singer of the group theater. So it was kind of like 4 years later. So we did have a lot of opportunities. Let's just say being in LA.
Yes, and then we have some people here on the live. I don't know if you guys can see the live, but on our side we can see the live. Misha Lay is saying Cali in the house. We got Cali in the house here. We got Colorado. We got Texas in the house. We got Florida in the house. So a lot of people tuning in, saying hello to you guys and tuning in with us. And so, a lot of great things I feel happen in California. Let's not lie. And one of the great things out there is that I know you guys have a residence, right? Where you guys play. And so tell us a little bit about your residence, because I know a lot of us who visit, California is my heart. I always say once my kids are old enough, you could go with me, or you don't have to. You can stay with Nana and Papa. But I'm headed to Cali. But
if you want to come to CDW3 in Cali, you got to come to Spaghettini's, which is our home base. We're there every Thursday night and every Sunday brunch. So please come down. It's a nice spot. It's right by the beach. And a lot of jazz greats are there, among the greats, actually. And we're one of them. But,
you are one of them.
Yeah.
You better claim that. Don't be shy about it. You better be like, I am a great, okay?
Yeah. There's actually a thing with our band. It's like, if you come to LA, you haven't played with DW3, you haven't played in LA. So a lot of our musicians are top-notch musicians. Our guitar players with Khalid. Our other guitar player played with Natalie Cole. The bass player was an MD for J-Lo. Drummer Stephanie Mills. So like the way that it's said is, you have to play with these guys in order to get that.
Yeah.
When you come to LA, and then once that happens, it's a blessing to us to have these musicians, and they just go out there and start playing with the greats too. So it's crazy, man. LA is where it's at,
We're still the rite of passage.
Yeah, and Spaghettini's been amazing with us. We would go out on tours, and the moment we got back, they're like, "You guys want to play again?" They've had our back since day one, so we're grateful to them. Carrie Hardwick and Lori Cisneros, they've been a great inspiration to us. They actually helped us with our very first release, our album On the Floor, and it was incredible. That's what kind of catapulted everything to the next level. So that was awesome.
That's awesome. Well, I'll be sure to check you guys out next time I'm out there. I'm supposed to be going out this weekend, but I know you won't be playing on a Saturday, so the next time I'm out for a full week, I'm going to head out there. We'll have to do a live, KUHS live down there.
Let's do it.
Yes, but love it. And so do you guys have any tours coming up to travel, maybe come here to Colorado. Colorado loves you. KUHS loves you.
Fun fact, we were supposed to go July of 2020, and, it all got shut down, so they postponed that. So I'm not sure if it's this year or the following, but we'll be out there soon. We're doing a lot of festivals in the summer, doing Napa Jazz Festival. We're doing Newport Gardena. We're going to be out in Texas in November. So just, it's slowly coming back. This whole pandemic, it almost put a fear in the promoters and everybody running everything, because everything started getting canceled again. So everybody's going to, they got to have that faith that hopefully this time we're good and, it's going to just smooth out again, because it was a crazy time, especially for us that played 4 or 5 times a week sometimes, to go from that to absolutely nothing. And that's when we started doing our own live streams. We were doing live streams from Spaghettini, and we had at one point like 29,000 people logged on watching us on a Sunday. We named it, it was still the Sunday brunch, but you just cooked the food at your house. And you had it on the screen. So our fans are the best fans that any band or artist can ever ask for. They've supported us through and through, and we want to send a big shout out to them. They're the best fans in the world, I call them.
Yeah.
Well, I was there with my noodles streaming. I was one of the 29,000. I mean, noodles, we could get down on some noodles. I'm just saying.
You're the best.
They are. Let me tell you, those of us, come on, Reno. If you know, you know. So speaking of you guys being out on tour and all that, and how 2020 impacted that, how did you guys take that of 2020? Because I feel, coming out of the pandemic, even we're already in 2022, but coming out of that, you could have either turned your aspirations and gone further up, or you could have gone the other way around. And so how did the whole pandemic affect you guys, not only individually, but as a group, of where you want to take your group next and where you're headed?
It was definitely a think process. We had to redo everything, relearn what we knew as for business, and create something completely different, like live streaming. I mean, we had donations coming in. It was a way to perform for people, and continue to keep our sanity at the same time, because it was really hard for us during that time. Even performing online, we weren't performing for any audience, so you still have that hunger for the audience because you feed off it. It was probably some of the hardest performance, but we really did have to recreate ourselves in a different way, a different marketing, different, and it was just nothing afterwards. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I mean, we would say wave your hands in the air and then point to the empty building in front of us and hope that everybody at home is screaming. So it took a bit of imagination, and but we had a great team helping us with the recordings. Zach Weigel, who's he's the sound coordinator, tour manager for
Rick
Springfield, and he helped us out a lot. He did a lot of the video and a lot of the audio, so that's why we were able to translate it over as well as we did. Because if you see the very first one we did, we were literally streaming off of a phone, just in our studio rehearsal room, and it went from there to a live stage, to having multiple angles on cameras, and like Bill said, we had to relearn everything on a digital scale. And again, our fans were the thing that drove us, because to this day I'll still get people who say, you guys got me through that pandemic. I recorded them, and now randomly I have a barbecue and I just put it on, and I feel like I'm there with you guys on stage. So that was a great feeling to know that people really appreciated all that.
They needed it, we needed it as well, but so did they. So it was great that they were able to still have a bunch. A lot of people weren't able to come to see us live, as it was, like out of the country and out of state. So they got a taste of what we did on Sunday brunch too. And the streams kept getting broader and broader, and then greater and greater. We had 14,000 people at one time, just, that tuned in, all day for that broadcast, So it was great to see people from other countries too, like our friends from Germany and
Brazil, Ireland,
Scotland.
Yeah, fans out there, but yeah, what an incredible feeling.
And so, Damon said that he put his on, to watch, and I know he was up there with his hands high, so I'm just saying, if he didn't raise his hands high at home to the own video.
It was a whole different experience, but it prepared us for that too, because after that happened, they opened up again in June, and then closed back down in July, and we didn't do the live stream anymore because we said, all right, we already did that platform. We want to prepare for something else. And it opened up the door for people wanting us to do events on Zoom or on a video platform. So we did festivals, we did private events where it was literally a big screen TV with us live and dedicated to whoever booked it, whether it was an anniversary, a birthday party, or a festival for different promoters.
And also did St. Jude and the Children's Hospital as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
And I think we kind of recreated, because we were kind of the first ones in LA to do it. And shortly after, everybody was doing it. So we kind of set a trend as well.
And your lives were amazing. I seen some of them. I was tuned into some of them, and it was spot on, for real. And I don't just say that to say that. Everyone who knows me knows I'm very blunt and outspoken. I'm that person that, you like me or you don't like me. And so, but your lives were amazing. I was like, these are awesome. And so, you really did fill in the room because you see lives, and it challenges you. It really does. It takes you to a different level. I know here being on the station, especially when artists or someone your guest doesn't show up, and you're completely live just talking to an audience, you don't see who's there, and you're like, oh, are they listening? Are they reciprocating what I'm doing? What's happening, because you can't see what's going on the other end. And so it definitely challenges you, but I feel like it makes you even better. And, there's the saying, be prepared in and out of season, and it really does make you prepared in and out of season. You got to know, just like how we all experienced in 2020, we're in a different season, and so are we prepared to take on what is that next level or that next thing that we have to do?
Right.
And so, you guys have been amazing and great, and I just want to hear some of the things, maybe it's some quotes, maybe someone's told you some stuff, but what are some things that have truly inspired you, whether you've read it or someone has told it to you personally, that just has changed your life and that has stuck with you, that maybe you'd want to share with our guests, that maybe it would impact and change their life as well?
Well, I got a good quote coming from Barry Gordy that kind of changed my life a bit. Barry Gordy said, am I still there?
Yeah.
Barry Gordy, because we're always in competition with each other, but we love each other. And Barry Gordy said it the best. He said, competition with love breeds champions. So that's what I love about Billy, Damon, and I, because we all do our craft very well. But sometimes there's a bit of competition. But when he said, when I first read that, I was like, I knew that we were on the right track.
Yeah.
Because competition with love breeds champions.
Yes, and I love that. I love that you brought that up, because if you're new to my show, those of you that are new here, but those of you that have been here, we always talk about that too. We're not really competing. If you're too busy competing, right, with each other instead of helping lift each other, your win is my win and my win is your win. We win together. We truly do, if we're helping each other grow together and move forward and evolve. So I love that you brought that up, because we bring that up here a lot on the show about winning together. And so,
especially Latinos, right? Latinos are very competitive,
Oh, I know this. They know this too. You put out a challenge and they're like, oh, great, it's over. I'm like, that's right.
Yeah.
Especially in the
that helps me out with everything, whether it's you know, doing something at home or, you know, relationship-wise, and like, you just got to keep going with it. If you really want it, you got to continue at it. You can't stop.
Yeah. Mine was more with about what I was saying about the music business, you know, and that was a quote from Barry Gordy. The music business is a business. It's you got to take it as like another business. So that was my inspiration. Hey, learn the business, learn about business, learn everything there is to know about business. So that helped me out through this whole thing.
I'm glad that you brought that up, though, because I heard one time, I don't remember where it's from, but I remember one time someone interviewing Eminem, and they're like, he literally treats music like a business, and they're like, and I learned something great from that. Like, he clocks in like a 9 to 5 and treats it like a business. And so I love that you brought that up, because I think a lot of the times we fail, no matter who it is, artists, other entrepreneurs, wherever you're at in business, we fail in that business aspect part of it, because we're so focused on, you know, the highlight reels and everything else that's going on, that we forget that business part of it. So what have you guys done for yourselves to learn that business part of it, and what would you say to others, like where they can start? Maybe you have tips on, you know, what they can do. I'll pass the spotlight to you.
Well, what I learned, first and foremost, was to get your publishing and your writing on track, whether it's ASCAP or BMI. You need to make sure that whatever you do, you pretty much register your work, because I've also encountered individuals who will, I'll go listen to their music and say, hey, go ahead and send me a snippet of that track and maybe we can work together. And they're like, oh no, and I find out later they got taken by someone who they gave the music to and they stole it. And if you're prepared in that sense, your music is already registered. They really can't do anything without your permission. And so that would be my thing. And then start with a DDA. Start putting all your music, all your earnings, all your live music earnings, anything that you have that's related to your business, put it into that, because that creates, you know, an opportunity for later on. You can start it as a full business LLC corporation, and it really helps out, because when you really need to buy new equipment, when you need to pay for certain things, flights and all that, you can run it through your company, and it's also a tax deduction because it's part of your business. So that would be my take on that.
I would say for me, what I try to tell young up-and-coming people who are they're looking to get a label, or they're trying to get signed, the first thing they're going to ask you is who's going to buy your records. Create your fan base, which is what we did first. We went out there and we created a huge fan base. And you don't have a business unless you have people who are going to buy your product, right? So you need to start with a fan base. And, you know, we grinded. We played all the local clubs. We were doing free gigs. We were doing stuff, I mean, just to get our name out there. You know, once you got your name out there, you build a fan base. Those are the people who are going to buy your records. And like I said, any club that you go to, they're going to ask you, well, how many people can you put in these seats? And you got to be confident to say, you know what, I'll sell your place out. And we can walk out. It's always going to be there. Sell you out. And that's sell your club out. You know what I mean? And that's what they want to know. And in order to get that, to have a business, you have to create a fan base. And that's, you got to work hard for that. It doesn't just come, you know?
Yes. And so, you know, we've talked a lot about your guys' business, a lot about your music. Is there anything on that we haven't talked about today that you guys would like to talk about? Anything that's personal to your heart? Anything that's going on, that's happening, that you'd like to share with the fans, or just like to let your fans know?
Oh, we love them. We love them a lot. You know, you gotta love your fans too, because without the fans, we're nothing. Like we were saying, you gotta get them, you gotta get all that love. Then you gotta love them too. Not in that way, but you know, you gotta love them.
love you from a distance, right? Like that.
Yeah. Group hug, here you go. Everybody, group hug.
You're like, are you there? No.
Yeah.
Some air hugs.